Hi, my name is Suzanne Lyons. I'm one of the Master Talent Teachers. My expertise is in the area of marketing, and today we're going to be focusing on the topic of goal setting. I'm a firm believer in the importance of goal setting. If you didn't have some sort of plan in place, chances are you're going to be following somebody else's plan. You know, when you get in your car, you have no problem setting your GPS for your destination. So let's do the same for your career. You know, you're a business, and businesses do this all the time. In fact, you're the president and CEO of your company, and I'm going to be interacting with you throughout this whole video series like you are the president and CEO of your company. So let's get started. What I've done is I've broken it down into easy, simple steps. We've got 7 steps in total. Step number 1 is what I call the big picture. It's a really fun place to begin. So what I want you to do is I want you to look out, way out into the future. Let's take 25 years. Something very powerful and freeing about looking into the future before you start making your plans for the 1 year or the 1 month goal. You get to have it be any way you want. There's no rules. No restrictions. It's like I'm giving you a candy store here, and you get to have anything you want. Do you know that in Japan, there are companies who plan 400 years into the future before they start making their plans and goals for their company? Well, same thing with you guys. You're a business, you're a company. So let's do that. In fact, here's an exercise to help you get started. It's 25 years in the future, and you're about to get up on stage to accept a Lifetime Achievement Award. Someone you admire is giving this speech to introduce you. What would you want them to say about you? If you could have it be any way you want, what would that be? What's been your contribution to this amazing industry? What are some of the highlights of your outstanding career? For example, it could be you're a household name in the world of theater. Another example could be you've won a record-breaking number of awards for your work as a voiceover artist in the field of television and film. What is it for you? Maybe it's you've won an Academy Award. What are those highlights for you? Now let's move on to step number 2. We are going to move back in time from 25 years to 5 years. You are welcome to list the highlights at the 15-year and 10-year point as well. But for now, I'd like you to take a look at where you are in 5 years, moving back from the 25-year mark, okay? I'd like you to list those accomplishments. What are you most proud of? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And what are the achievements that you've done in 5 years, okay? Take a look at that. Given where you are in 25 years, where would you need to be in 5 years? And given that you can't fail, I've still got the candy store here. You know, given you can't fail, where are you in 5 years? Another angle would be, who do you need to be in 5 years to fulfill on who you are in 25 years? Be bold here, okay? Be bold. You know, list your titles, you know, your credits, your special recognition, you know, any awards, you know, how much money are you making in 5 years? Name drop if you want, but start to create that list. Some examples could be, you know, my one-woman show is opening on Broadway. I'm a regular on a hit TV series. I'm accepting my Grammy Award. You know, for me, I've done, produced 9 films. So what I would like to write down for the 5-year list would be, you know, I'm on location producing my 15th film. So what is it for you? Start to create that list for you. Now let's move backward from 5 years to 1 year. Now this is a little different. I want you to actually create a 1-year goal this time. Now the rubber hits the road, okay? The 1-year goal may not be something that you know how to do, but it's doable. But it's not a pie-in-the-sky dream either, okay? And I think the reason why so many of us don't reach our goals, actually I think there's a couple reasons. One is we don't speak clearly about what our goal is. And if we're not speaking it clearly, people can't support you and get behind you. I think another reason, and listen to this one, this is important, I think when we're being vague about our goals, which we tend to do, is it lets us off the hook. And when you are not on the hook, when you're being vague about your goal, guess what? You're not taking the responsibility because you're not truly committed to having it happen. A goal should have a clear, specific, measurable result. I like to add numbers to mine. So it's not I will have a few more auditions a month. It's more like I will have 6 more auditions each month. Each goal has a single focus. It's something that's doable, not something you may know how to do, but it's doable. And it's something that will be a breakthrough for you. Also, it's proactive, something that you can control. There's no hoping or wishing going on here. Are your palms sweating a little bit? Is your heart palpitating a bit? If not, you're playing too small. The fact that you guys are watching this video tells me that you're committed to your career as an actress, a dancer, a singer, a performer, whatever it is, whatever arena in this entertainment industry. It tells me that you are committed to mastery. So don't play small here, all right? I want you to play big. I want you to go outside, way outside your comfort zone here. Okay, let's take a review just for a second, and let's look at the goal again. A goal has a specific measurable result, a single focus. It's doable. Like I said, you may not know how to do it, but it's doable. It's a breakthrough for you, and it's proactive, something that you can control. Now, let's move on to step 4. One of my favorite stages in this great game of goal setting is creating a timeline and milestones. One of the main reasons why I think we fail at accomplishing our goals is we tend to treat them like New Year's resolutions. We are all well-intentioned, when we tell our friends our New Year's resolutions, but then nothing happens. In fact, a lot of time we even have the same one this time next year, I think what we need to do is we need to break them down, to say, I'll have my one-woman show on stage by late December. That's scary. Our one-year goals can be daunting, scary, paralyzing. We need to break them down into what I call bite-sized pieces. For the sake of this exercise, let's look at the whole year. What I like to do is buy a big piece of poster board and a magic marker. For example, list your goals at the end of the year and then list what needs to happen at certain points along the way. I call these milestones. If this were January and you have your goals listed to complete by the end of the year, for example, then what would be the milestone items that you would need to have complete by April 1st, by July 1st, by October 1st, in order to ensure that you reach your goal? Wherever you start in the year and whatever deadline you give yourself is absolutely fine. What's important is that you break it down into pieces. Do you know that when the Romans were building the roads, what they used to do is they'd put a rock in the road after each mile. It not only let them know what they had accomplished, but more importantly, it let them know where they were at any given time. I think it's brilliant. Milestones, as far as I'm concerned, because they let you know where you are at any given time, it takes the mystery out of success. Since you know exactly what needs to be done along the way to ensure that your goals are going to be accomplished. For example, for the goal of your one-woman show opening in late December, the milestones for April could look like this: a complete working draft of the script, a fully prepared budget, have hired a web designer. Now, step 5, action plan. Now it's time to look at what specific actions you can take this month, this week, even today to fulfill on your milestones. If you want to have the working draft done of your play, that could be something like writing so many pages per day. That could be one action. For example, for the budget, that might mean, for example, setting up an action plan of so many hours per week. For your web designer, that might be calling a bunch of friends and colleagues and getting referrals for web designer. Okay, so there may be a lot of actions. I'm not saying it's going to be just that little list you had of milestones. There could be a lot of actions to take between now and that first milestone. The good news is now by having that milestone, you know what actions you've got to take. The fact that you've broken it down, you now know how to get there. Moving on to the next step, your statistics. You're going to hate me for this one. I don't care. I am so totally okay with it. You know why? because I think this step is extremely important and I don't want you to miss it. When I was teaching the Flash Forward workshops, I would ask people, raise your hand, if you've been tracking your statistics, and nobody ever did. Nobody ever raised their hand. I couldn't believe it. To me, this one is so important. And I worked with thousands and thousands of people. I even asked my husband one time. We'd only been out here for about a year, and his goal was to be on staff as a TV writer. So I said, "Hun, pick a month through the year and let me know how you've been doing in terms of, tracking your statistics. How many calls have you made, for example, that would move your project forward, get your goal to happen?" And he looked through his day timer, and then he looked up at me. He had picked a month, October, I think he said, and he looked up and he said, "I've made 3 calls." And I said, 3 calls? 3 calls? If you were the president and CEO of your company, would 3 calls have been sufficient? And he said, "Heck no, I would have fired myself months ago." Well, guess what, guys? You're a business. Statistics help us keep track of our progress. It's simple. If the numbers go up, there's lots of activity happening. If they go down, there isn't. Until you've reached your goal, I strongly suggest you keep your statistics. Don't worry, I'm going to make it easy for you. Here is the stats sheet that I used in my workshops. Very easy. As you can see, it's 1 week broken down into columns with a totals column at the end. And as you can see, a column at the beginning for all the categories that you want to track. Our industry is both a relationships industry and a numbers industry. And what this sheet will do is help you get your numbers up. Choose the categories you want to track. For example, number of calls made, number of referrals, number of meetings, number of additions, number of rejections even. Take a minute and really tailor the form to you and your project goals. Get your numbers up. Did you know that Babe Ruth struck out 1,330 times? He had 714 home runs, but he had to strike out 1,330 times to get them. How many times are you even getting up to bat? Here's another one of my favorites. I love this one. Step 7 is all about being held accountable. Well, guess what? We're human. That's the good news, and that's the bad news. It has its drawbacks. Sometime when the going gets tough, the tough go south. It's like I just find that when things get really difficult or really hard, I try to avoid those difficult phone calls. I can't help it. And if I'm doing it, I bet then there's a good chance that you are too. So, one of the things that is so important is to be held accountable. I will not take on any big goal or any new learning curve without somebody holding my feet to the fire. I'm not kidding, and I've been doing this stuff for years, and I need that. I'll do it a couple of different ways, and you can do whatever works best for you. But a couple of suggestions are, I'll either have a partner, like one person, where we call each other, say, once or twice a week for just a few minutes, and we kind of report in, this is what I've done so far this week, this is what I haven't done, come clean, this is what I need to do. Then another way I've done it too, which works really well, is with a team, a whole team. There was 6 of us that met, honestly, every Tuesday morning for breakfast for 4 years. And we worked on our quarterly goals. And what we would do is we report in on, here's what I've done this week. Once again, here's what I didn't. Here's what I need to do. And then we'd kind of get support and brainstorm a little bit about, what needed to be done to help us along. I promise you guys, take this on. I'm not kidding. It is so valuable. It will make the world of difference. Well, that's it for this session. Next time on Goal Setting Part 2, I will be interviewing industry experts who have used this method of goal setting to achieve their success, and I'll be getting their words of wisdom to share with you. Until then, enjoy the exercises that I've given you today. Have fun with all of this. It's all a great fun game we're playing. So please remember to be light about it and enjoy this delightful ride. Once again, my name is Suzanne Lyons for Master Talent Teachers.